former Prince Andrew, Donald Trump attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know, were there any underage girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein?
Attorney General Pam Bondi was unaware that the footage she was about to see would change the color of her face. About 30 seconds ago, California Representative Ted Lieu removed 2 photos from his desk. Prince Andrew, next to Jeffrey Epstein, at a party. And then he suddenly broke the atmosphere in the room with that sentence. "You are making a false statement under oath. Moreover, this has been recorded. Moreover, this was recorded." Watch this video until the end, because the document Lieu presents next an FBI witness statement. A limousine driver, a narrative about a young girl shot in the head, takes the picture to a completely different point. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications, because what is being discussed here involves serious allegations about how the Justice Department handled the Epstein files. Opening. 2 photos. Congress Justice Committee. Afternoon session. Attorney General Pam Bondi had been called to testify. It was thought that the agenda would be immigration policy and border security. It seemed like a routine inquiry, but Ted Lieu was preparing to open a different case. "I want to show you 2 photographs," he said in a calm, controlled tone. 2 images were projected onto the screen. Prince Andrew with Jeffrey Epstein in a party setting. However, there was a noticeable absence. The censored face. Prince Andrew attended various events with Jeffrey Epstein, Lieu began. "Under the law enacted by Congress, you are allowed to censor certain images to protect the victims in Epstein's sex trafficking network. You covered the victim's face in this photo for this reason, so you acted in accordance with the congressional law. Is that correct? Is it true?" Bondi paused for a moment. "I'm sorry, the victim's face. Because we had to comply with the law, right?" "That's right," Lieu said clearly. Yes. Okay, the trap is closing. Now," Lieu said, his tone noticeably hardening, "let's put the photos back on the screen, because we are looking at a victim of sex trafficking here. The hall was engulfed in a heavy silence. Everyone had started to understand where the next sentence would lead. According to the Federal Trafficking Victims Protection Act, Jeffrey Epstein is not the only one guilty, Lieu said. Everyone who was a customer of this operation is also culpable. Everyone involved in this operation is also guilty. Bondi's facial expression changed. He had noticed the direction it was taking. "Therefore," Lieu continued, "I find any attempt to protect individuals connected to Epstein, such as former Prince Andrew, extremely disturbing." "Therefore," Lieu continued, "I find any attempt to protect individuals connected to Epstein, such as former Prince Andrew, extremely disturbing." July 2025. The closing of the case. Lieu received a document. "You closed the case regarding the abuse allegations connected to Epstein last July," he said. In the July 2025 Department of Justice memo, it states, "There is insufficient evidence to warrant the initiation of a new investigation into uncharged third parties." Then he marked the photos on the screen. "These 2 images, please reflect on them again. These 2 images, which you are looking at face to face, are indicative of a criminal suspicion and are sufficient to at least initiate an investigation into former Prince Andrew. I'm asking you plainly, Attorney General Pam Bondi, why did you close this case last July? And why didn't you prosecute Prince Andrew? Why did you close this case last July? And why didn't you prosecute Prince Andrew?" Defense. Ask Garland. Bondi tried to change direction. "I don't remember you asking him these questions while he was sitting here as Attorney General. At this point, I agree with you," Lieu interjected. "I take back what I said. I followed this case during the Biden administration as well. Merrick Garland failed. Attorney General Bill Barr failed. Alex Acosta failed. This is a chain of negligence. This is a chain of negligence." He paused briefly, then spoke clearly. "But right now, you are the one responsible. You have the authority to make changes. You have the power to hold these individuals accountable, and you are doing the opposite. You are protecting them. You are protecting them." Trump title is opening. "I want to move on to another name now," Lieu said. Bondi tried to intervene. "Can I answer? I will switch to Donald Trump. I will pass on Donald Trump. I want to answer your question about the protection issue." "You answered," Lieu said. "You said no. You said no." Then a video was prepared to be played. "Like Prince Andrew, another person mentioned in the Epstein files is Donald Trump. Like Prince Andrew, Another person mentioned in the Epstein files, Donald Trump. An image was projected onto the screen. Trump and Epstein side by side at a party. They are laughing, chatting. Critical question. Just like Prince Andrew, Lieu said, Donald Trump also attended various events with Jeffrey Epstein. I want to clarify this. Were there underage girls at that party or at any event where Trump was with Epstein? Bondi's tone rose. This is completely a ridiculous distraction, he said. There is no evidence that Donald Trump committed any crime. Everyone knows this. It was one of the most transparent presidencies this country has seen. The person who opened the files— I'm reclaiming my time, Lieu interjected. I got your answer. You say there is no evidence. You say there's no evidence. Tension is at its peak. Lieu issued another document. Mr. President, please maintain order. This is my time. This is my time. Committee Chair, the time belongs to the Californian member. Committee Chair, the time belongs to the Californian member. Now, I will show another document. Lieu's voice was firmer. A witness statement from someone who called the FBI's National Threat Operations Center. Statement from a witness who called the FBI's National Threat Operations Center. The atmosphere in the room became tense. Because I think you are not telling the truth under oath. Because I think you are not telling the truth under oath. Bondi seemed like he was about to stand up. Don't you dare accuse me of a crime. He raised his voice. Lieu did not back down. I believe you have made a false statement under oath, and this session is fully on the record, and this session is being recorded. He removed the document. You just said there was no criminal element. Now I am showing you the record of a report made to the FBI's Threat Operations Center. Now I am showing you the record of a tip made to the FBI's Threat Operations Center. The limousine driver's statement. Lieu started reading from the document. The witness states that he transported Donald Trump in a limousine. He says he heard Trump talking on the phone with Jeffrey during the ride. He says he was so angry that he considered stopping the vehicle and intervening. Additionally, he claims to have met a young girl who alleges she was abused by Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. Additionally, he claims to have met a young girl who alleges she was abused by Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. Lieu paused for a moment. There was not a sound in the hall. According to the witness, that young girl was later found shot in the head. The officers at the scene assessed that this could not be a suicide. Officials at the scene assessed that this could not be a suicide. Expression: crisis. And no one from the Justice Department spoke to this witness, Lieu said. He turned his eyes directly to Bondi. You must meet with this person immediately. Epstein died without facing the consequences of his actions, but everyone involved in this network should be held accountable. As mentioned here today, it is claimed that more than 1,000 people have been victimized. Despite this, no action has been taken against a single customer. If you have any sense of responsibility, you should consider stepping down from your position when this session ends. If you have any sense of responsibility, you should consider stepping down from your position when this session ends. Tension in the living room. The member's term has expired, said the committee chair. Can I respond? Bondi asked, his voice now more tense. Yes, said the president, but the time is limited. Yes, said the president, but time is limited. Lieu interjected, I didn't ask a question. Lieu interjected, I didn't ask a question. I want to answer your question. I didn't ask a question, Lieu said sternly. The president struck the gavel. Let order be established. Let order be established. Bondi stayed in place. The cameras were recording. The tension had become palpable. Why is this topic so critical? Epstein is no longer alive. Ghislaine Maxwell has been convicted. However, there are still questions awaiting answers in the public eye. According to the allegations, the abuse network was not limited to just 2 names, and it is claimed that the number of victims is expressed in hundreds, even thousands. The main debate focuses on this point. If a systematic structure is involved, why were only a few people prosecuted? For this reason, this trial has turned into a larger inquiry, not just about a political debate, but about the public's trust in the justice system. Protection pattern. Looking at the emerging picture, there is a common thread pointed out by the critics. Bill Barr, Attorney General during Trump, alleged that the Epstein investigation was slow. Alex Acosta, Trump's Secretary of Labor, criticized for the controversial deal given to Epstein. Merrick Garland, Attorney General during Biden, accused of not taking action against clients. Pam Bondi, Attorney General during Trump. In the spotlight for the decision to close the case, different administrations, different parties. But the public perception is this: strong figures are protected every time. What does federal law say? The regulation referred to by Lieu is clear. 18 U.S.C. Section 1591, sex trafficking. The law states that individuals who benefit from or attempt to engage in commercial sexual acts through force, deceit, or with knowledge that the victim is under 18 years old may also fall within the scope of the crime. So, not only the person who founded the organization, but also the person who consciously benefited from this structure can be held responsible. This comment is at the center of the discussion. Prince Andrew file. The points Lieu indicated were as follows. Photos taken at parties. The victim's face being censored as required by congressional law. Acknowledgement of the victim's presence. The concept of patronizing in federal law. Critics argue that this at least provides sufficient grounds to initiate an investigation. However, the Ministry of Justice decided to close the case. Trump headline. The elements that Lieu brought to the agenda were as follows. Videos of Trump and Epstein together. Testimony allegedly belonging to the limousine driver statement, claiming to have heard a phone conversation. Allegation that a victim was abused by Trump and Epstein. Allegation of suspicious death. Allegation that no official interview was conducted with this witness. Lieu's argument was this. This is not a no evidence situation. It is a picture where the allegations have not been sufficiently investigated. Bondi's defensive line. Bondi focused on three main points. These questions should have been asked to previous attorneys general as well. Lieu said he had raised the same issue under both Democratic and Republican administrations, adding, "But right now, you are responsible. There is no evidence of a crime regarding Trump." Lieu argued that this should be investigated, pointing to the witness statement. Trump ran a transparent presidency. Lieu criticized the lack of prosecution on the customer side, despite hundreds or even thousands of victim claims. Those moments were recorded. The tension rose. And this discussion has gone beyond just one session. Because the issue is no longer just one name. It has become the question of how the justice system operates against powerful individuals. Witness. Who is the limousine driver? Lieu did not provide details to protect the identity of the witness. However, the allegations raised during the session were as follows. He transported Donald Trump in a limousine. He overheard a phone conversation between Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. The content of the conversation seriously disturbed him. He met a victim who claimed to have been abused by Trump and Epstein. This victim was later found shot in the head. Allegations that some officials at the scene believed it could not be a suicide. Lieu's strongest statement was at this point. He said, "The Justice Department did not have an official meeting with this witness." His criticism was clear. If there is such a statement, why wasn't it at least listened to? Shame. Closing. The most striking moment of Lieu was his final words. Epstein died without being held accountable for his actions. Everyone who benefited from this network should also be held accountable. It is said that there are more than 1,000 victims, and not a single customer has been prosecuted. This is unacceptable. If you have a sense of responsibility, you should review your duties after this session. If you have a sense of responsibility, you should review your task after this session. This was not an ordinary political squabble. It was a call for a moral reckoning. Bondi stayed in place. There was no clear answer. The essence of the discussion is tied up here. If there are hundreds, even thousands of claims from victims, why has no lawsuit been filed on the customer side? Why is it said that some witnesses were not heard? Why were the cases closed? These questions formed the main weight of the session. And as long as the answers do not come, the public's doubts do not seem to dissipate either. Is the system protecting the powerful? Allegation. The picture drawn by critics is as follows. Epstein passed away. Ghislaine Maxwell was convicted. However, according to allegations, the structure was not limited to just these two names. Those mentioned in flight records, those seen in invitations, politicians, business people, and influential figures alleged to have been connected. The following question is being asked more and more loudly in the public. Why is there no lawsuit on the customer side? These criticisms span different administrations. It was claimed that the process progressed slowly during Bill Barr's term. Alex Acosta's past agreement was heavily criticized. It was said that no steps were taken on the client side during Merrick Garland's term. Pam Bondi's decision to close the case sparked controversy. The party is changing, names are changing. But the public's doubt doesn't change. Do the powerful really account for their actions? What was the perception at the end of the session? This hearing was technically an inquiry session. However, for many viewers, it turned into a moment of reckoning. Lieu's claims were as follows. At least there was a basis for an investigation regarding Prince Andrew. The no evidence claim was controversial. Some witness statements were not adequately evaluated. The difference between the number of victims and the prosecution on the customer side was striking. It was argued that Trump connections should also be investigated more thoroughly. Bondi, however, denied these accusations. However, the critical point from the public's perspective was this. Not all the questions were answered clearly and satisfactorily. You are making a false statement under oath. The limousine driver claim, the emphasis on suspicious death, and the "Shame on you" outburst. These moments seem likely to resonate widely on social media. The bigger question. The main issue here is not just a single name. The question is, if there are hundreds, even thousands of victim claims, why has the justice system only stopped at a few people? As long as there is no clear answer to this question, the debate will not end. The public is still waiting for an answer.